Neverending Nightmares is a psychological horror game based on the creator's struggle with OCD and depression. Neverending Nightmares explores themes of mental health, trauma, and inner demons in an introspective manner. Through its narrative, it raises questions about the nature of reality, the struggle with mental illness, and the blurred lines between dreams and waking up. Throughout this research, you will find the production, level design, sound design, game program, and visual design of Neverending Nightmares. The abstract also discusses the critical praise and prizes received by the game, highlighting its role in extending the horror genre and stretching the boundaries of video game narrative. Neverending Nightmares has huge influences from other games in terms of storytelling and gameplay aspect. The first one is Silent Hill 2. Silent Hill 2 is a survival horror game that was made in 2001. Silent Hill has a fascinating storyline in which each gruesome scene contributed to the overall story of the game. Matt Gilgenbach was heavily inspired by the game. He stated, "In that series, all the horrific images have meaning and reveal more about the characters. The developers masterfully tell a story through the subtext and horrific incarnation of creatures that occupy the other world." This is one of the main goals of Neverending Nightmares. Storytelling is one of the most important aspects of Neverending Nightmares, as the game was inspired with Matt's OCD and depression. Storytelling is a key feature in the development of the game. Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Another influence that Gilgenbach cited was Amnesia: The Dark Descent. Amnesia is a first-person horror game released in 2010 by Frictional Games. This is where Gilgenbach got the simplicity of the controls and aspect of arrow keys and interact button. What made Amnesia scary is the fact that you can only run and hide. Neverending Nightmares perfectly captures that concept. Devastated Dreams. Devastated Dreams is another game that Matt Gilgenbach tried to develop. It has a very similar art style, game controls with Neverending Nightmares. It almost felt like it was Neverending Nightmares 2. The concept of Devastated Dreams is about a Philippine folklore, manananggal. A manananggal is a monster that preys on unborn baby that is still in the womb. The game was made after the Neverending Nightmares, but unfortunately, the game was now released to the general public to play as funding of the game didn't work out as Neverending Nightmares.
Neverending Nightmares artists are Joe Grabowski, the lead artist, while Chris Ewald and Adam Grabowski are the co-artists of the visuals of the game Neverending Nightmares. The game's framework, which simulates OCD via repetition, sadness through helplessness, intrusive thoughts through terror, homicidal and suicidal vignettes, is what sets it apart from other horror games. Neverending Nightmares' aesthetic experience perfectly reflects the gameplay and narrative concept of the game, which were both clearly influenced by the gothic pen and ink imagery of American novelist and artist Edward Gorey. Although Neverending Nightmares' visual style may be appreciated on the surface level without knowing this, it is wonderful knowing that this allows for appreciation on a deeper level, as it depicts the creator's tribulations up to this point in his life. By treating the game's graphic style with such minimal restrictions, Gilgenbach was also able to address his own emotions as well as start a discussion about mental health concerns and how video games are effective as a compelling medium for addressing such weighty and complicated subjects.
Okay, so my name is Kurt Lassam, and I'm the sound designer for our group. Game creator Matt Gilgenbach has previously and freely discussed his personal depressive tendencies and how they are represented in the game's design. Gilgenbach has long struggled with obsessive-compulsive disorder. This experience is undeniably aggravating, but it serves the purpose of the game's story. Sound producer for Neverending Nightmares is Skylar McLaughlin. McLaughlin is a music artist based on Austin, Texas, who owns and operates Laguna Studios. Today, most of the music or track he makes are self-produced and known for his distinct musical taste, such as heavy, dark, funk, pop, hip-hop, and grim. All the genres used were experimental for McLaughlin, and he added elements of his own style to the targeted genre. Since the game was based on real psychic attacks and terrifying events, he had to really analyze what a person hears during these psychic attacks. Based on what he claims in his analysis, he applies what he observed in the game about the user creating an image for the plot with ghostly sounds. And also to add, the voice actors were Jesse James Garrell and Elizabeth Maxwell.
Level design. Neverending Nightmares' level design of endless loops is not an uncommon choice for horror thriller games. This type of game design is seen in games such as Silent Hill and PT. Nevertheless, it is still effective in adding suspense to the game by adding the feel of waiting to see what minor or major detail is going to be different in the next level. The game takes place in Thomas's residence, which is a peculiar home that loops and twists in impossible manners. The presence of numerous doors and nearly identical hallways creates a disorienting effect, making it difficult to establish a sense of location and direction. Even when following a straight path, doubts can easily creep in, causing one to feel lost. Since the game primarily revolves around exploring increasingly deteriorating environments, this uncertain feeling lingers throughout the entire experience. One of the most unique things about this game is the color scheme. Everything is black and gray, except certain objects which you can interact with, such as the axe, candle, and the doorknob handles. Next up are bits of the background in Neverending Nightmares: the mansion, the asylum, the graveyard, and the psych ward. And lastly, these are all the monsters that you will encounter in the game: the patient, the baby monster, Nightmare Gabby, and Nightmare Thomas.
Neverending Nightmares manages to create a unique horror experience for the players using various tools and development techniques, along with Matt Gilgenbach's ideas. Neverending Nightmares uses a custom-built game engine using C++ as well as OpenGL and SDL. OpenGL, or Open Graphics Library, is a graphics API used by thousands of developers in the game industry. SDL, or Simple Direct Media Layer, is a general development library that can be used to create 2D games and animations. Infinite Trap Games created a 3D-inspired vertex-based animation system. The characters in the game are 2D based and move around in a 3D environment. Vertex-based animation is done by running the animation, and for each frame, the local space vertex position is read. The information is then stored in a matrix. The information of these arrays will be accessed in the vertex shader. Using this particular type of system helps keep the texture memory down and also allows for smooth animation. It's all vertex based with regular texture maps applied to it. Infinite Trap Games created custom tools for creating 2D meshes that are taken from a static image and animates those vertices to create the characters in the game. Infinite Trap Games have their own data formats for this. Neverending Nightmares uses the L8 or L8I8 texture formats in-game because most textures are in black and white. The PNGs they use for the characters are compressed in an XMF format. These textures and sprites are all stored in a WAD format. WAD, or a WAD file, means where's all the data and is used to store data used by the game. WAD files are known for being used by the game Doom and similar Doom-based game engines. The WAD file can store anything from textures and sprites to level and item information.
Production. Game production. Matt Gilgenbach, the creator and lead designer of Neverending Nightmares under the team of Infinite Tap Games. Released on September 26, 2014, he created this game in a way of expressing his unspoken problems. he had intrusive thoughts relating to self harm, which explained the graphic theme presented throughout the whole game. The game tackles real life issues with OCD and despair, inspiring these terrifying nightmare realms. The game has branches of to having three distinct endings. They spent over 140K and 4 years of 40 hours work weeks on rhythm action shump hybrid retrograde. The game sold poorly that it failed to break even. Production team. This is the full production team of Infinite Tap Games that produced the Neverending Nightmares. Scheduling. Matt Gilgenbash had a struggle startup with budgeting and having enough money to actually make the game. According to Jeffrey Matulev, 2015, prior to Steam, GOG, Humble, and Ouya collected as their share. The result isn't particularly profitable when divided by a four-person studio that worked for about 21 months with some assistance from others. When you take into account Ouya previous free-the-game fund efforts, which fulfilled the minimal requirements of successfully funded Kickstarter campaigns. Neverending Nightmares nearly raised 200K on Kickstarter.
Marketing of the game Neverending Nightmares was done no other than the creator itself, Matt Gilgenback. The Steam page of a certain game is important in marketing the game. In the game Neverending Nightmares, the banner used to be just the title text of the game. In the long run, Matt realized that just having the title of the game in the banner isn't going to work, as people won't get enough information on what the game is about. Later, after the revision of the banner showcases the art style of the game and it gives the concept that the game is a horror game. The new banner has a heavy emphasis on red, which is the color of blood, which is widely used by Matt in almost every crucial detail of the game. Picture marketing. The picture used in marketing the game in Steam are gameplay screenshots of the key moments of the game. It puts an emphasis on what the banner is depicting. In this case, a horror game with emphasis on blood and extreme shading as its art style, which is definitely important in marketing and selling the game. Who would buy a game you don't know anything about? These different game assets that are shown in these gameplay screenshots are just some of the best moments of the game that will help boost the game to the public. Video trailer is an essential part of marketing. This is what I would consider the most important part, especially in this digital world. Matt, with the help of Kurt Garner, who is the one who made the teaser and trailer of the game. Initially, Matt didn't like the trailer at all and he said, "It's not the game, it's not in order." It took a while for Matt to realize that the trailer was the one. He said, "The trailer really gives the feeling and ideas of the game without spoiling. It portrays that nightmares are there and that terrible things will happen. The trailer gives this psychological horror vibe without giving too much, in which still give room for mystery and curiosity, which will help sell the game. In which that is the goal of the trailer, to market the game and get people to play the game." Description of the game. Experience true psychological horror as you explore nightmares inspired by the creator's struggles with depression and OCD. The defenseless protagonist must avoid monstrous manifestation of what haunts his subconscious in his quest to wake up into reality. The concept of mental health has been one of the things that make it appealing to the media, or to make a talk out of it. But the question is it good for a game concept? That was the question or doubt that Matt was having while thinking of the description of the game. Depression and OCD is a serious mental illness that some people won't understand unless that person has gone through depression or OCD. The true to life experience of mental illness became one of the selling factors of the game. As you can see here, these are the different Steam reviews. These are just some of the reviews that talks about mental illness as a main point of the whole game. Because to me, it really is. And if you don't see the game as an outlet of the creator to establish his struggles to share with others, you won't really appreciate the game. Some call the game as a walking simulator because all you do is walk. But that was the concept that the creator wants to target. No other unnecessary things to do. The game is a form of self-expression, and the game is not for everyone. Some will appreciate, others won't. But as Matt said, it definitely felt good to express myself and my struggles to the world. Social media, YouTube. Neverending Nightmares expand from just a game into a community with people who supports and appreciates the game. The game was played by the likes of PewDiePie, Markiplier, and Jacksepticeye, in which people would watch their favorite YouTuber play Neverending Nightmares. This helped fans of the game to form a community for the love of Neverending Nightmares. Walkthroughs, explanations, as well as different content regarding Neverending Nightmares are made by different content creators in YouTube. Matt Gilgenbeck has his own YouTube channel where he explained the production, marketing, funding, narration, and prototyping of Neverending Nightmares. He has a series of videos named Neverending Nightmares Dev Diary, which tackles the development process of Neverending Nightmares. Reddit and Kickstarter. Reddit has also been a platform that Matt, by the username of, you can see right here, where he promotes his game to be funded in Kickstarter. Kickstarter is a crowdfunding platform that is based on creativity. The company's mission is to help bring creative project to life. Matt cannot do this project alone without the people who supported him and made the game possible. Matt also answers different questions on Reddit regarding Neverending Nightmares. Pixiv. Pixiv is a community of Japanese artists who made a manga based on Neverending Nightmares on November 29, 2017. The manga is available on Pixiv app and Pixiv website. It was written by Sunplant Co. Ltd. and the art was by Kato Kata. The manga or comic was adapted with more dialogue between characters as well as a clear explanation of ending and different things that you need to figure out by yourself in the game explained in this adaptation. It is a great adaptation by a community of people with a love and appreciation for the game.